have to cry no more.
I tell you we want church.
I won't have to cry no more.
Hi, welcome to another segment of KISS. That is, keep it simple, sir. Keep it simple, senorita. Keep it simple, saints of God. Praise God. We have another blessed show for you today. Praise God. And the subject title today is The Survivors. And don't touch that dial until you hear the greatest story that you may have heard in a long time. My guests today, I'm going to introduce themselves and how you may be able to get in touch with them. Since our returning guest, Ms. Floyd Johnson, we'll start with her and then we'll go right around the table and finish up with Ms. Costner.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for inviting me again. My name is Floyd Johnson. I am a breast cancer survivor of 19 years, and I can be reached at area code 937-580-0044.
All right.
I am Reverend Gloria Wright Cox. I am the executive pastor of the Parenthood Ministries, and you can contact me at 937-474-2700.
Praise God.
And my name is Diane Costner, and I am a breast cancer and a uterine cancer survivor, and for about 15 years. I can be reached at 937-750-8719.
Praise God. And we're talking about survivors. And surely we have each one of you ladies today knowing the experience, the trip or the trail or the path to surviving. Today also we use the biblical scripture. I decided to find here John 10:10. It says, "The thief cometh not, but for to steal and kill and to destroy. I am come that they may have life and that they might have it more abundantly." And there are things that we can do to have life more abundantly. Agree?
Amen.
So, and the thief comes in so many different forms. It comes through the air we breathe. It comes through the food we eat. We come through the exercise we do. So that thief has ways of coming and taking the most precious thing that we love, our life, our time, and the abundance in living. So I know that we have Ms. Johnson here that has started an organization or part of the organization. You share a little bit about the organization you have as here in the Dayton area.
Thank you, Bishop. Pastor Cox and I started a group last year this time.
Okay.
We have a group which is officially entitled Survivors and Caregivers United.
Okay.
We started meeting in January of 2019, and our first kickoff meeting was in March of 2019. We now meet monthly at Grandview Hospital, the third Wednesday of each month at 1 p.m.
All right. And what are some of the goals that you have that you set aside? What are you trying to achieve through your starting this organization?
The organization, the support group, we're covering all cancers. So we're not just zeroing in on one, but all of them. And there are many overlapping things that happen all the way through the journey with cancer. So we just wanted to reach out to the community and let them know that this group is here, and it is a safe place for them to come and to talk and get support. We cry, we pray, we're thankful. So it's a good organization group that we've put together. We've been having some wonderful subjects. We've talked about even stress and massage, and how even getting different doctors to come in. As some of our goals is having the doctors to come in and give us new information about what's going on with cancer, and we've had exercising, or we're doing pampering. It's a lot that goes on. This is foundational. We've kind of laid the foundation for the support group, and as we're continuing to lay that foundation, we're going to continue to build. And one of our goals this year with the Parenthood, along with the Survivors and Caregivers United, is that we found that there were a lot of women and women of color that are not getting their mammograms. So our goal for 2020 is to we're trying to reach 1,500 women to come and get their mammograms. And they can come to Grandview Medical Center and get those mammograms. And so that's our goal this year, going into 2020, is to do that, and also to do some more outreach. We want to outreach to the homeless. We want to outreach to the senior centers, churches, schools. We need to reach people to get them to understand to do the preventative things for their health, instead of waiting until something drastic comes along and then we're running around crazy trying to get information. We want to get information out to the public, and especially to our ladies. And don't forget about the men. With breast cancer, men are also affected with that. Prostate cancer. And we have to get even the stigma off of going to the doctor. So those are some of the goals that we're trying to achieve.
And I love when she began to say about all cancers.
All cancers.
Because there's a big C that's out there now, and everybody here is a big negative. But the only thing, also the beautiful thing, you say how that you can prepare ahead of time. Instead of an ounce of prevention beat a pound of cure.
Yes.
And the thing is that I had one medical professional share with us that it may lurk in your body 10 years before you even know it, until it become full blown or come blown to the point that affects your health. A lot of times you don't even really know. You think you're healthy until that point.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I can say for myself, I was in denial. I am a breast cancer survivor, as I said, of 19 years, and at the time I had inflammatory breast cancer, meaning that my left breast continued to enlarge. It was very painful. I knew something was wrong, but on the flip side of that, I had not passed probation at my part-time job. So in my head, I was saying, okay, once I pass probation, then I'll go to a doctor. But fortunately, I worked in a medical facility that intervened, and they referred me to a clinic who in turn provided treatment within 2 weeks of my diagnosis. So I'm very thankful to God, because God continues to look out and bless me, and I give him the highest respect. The other thing I would like to mention, Bishop, is we are not just a women's group anymore. We have expanded in that we have men. And the men, they're a joy to be around. Pastor Jones, bless his heart, we had to slow him down. This man is in the middle of treatment as we speak, still taking the necessary medications. But he admitted to us, I have a difficult time saying no to people. But Gloria and I both got on him just this week. Please slow down and take a break. So as a result, he is going to go see his family and have a break. Because with cancer, you just can't get up the next second after you have all these treatments and go about with your day. It can be draining.
Oh, yes. And I mean, that's something I heard. It said something a little bit ago about stress. A lot of times people don't realize stress contributes to a lot of our illness that we may have in our body. When you think about the eating and the drinking, the negative things there, but even our own body turns against us in areas of stress. We always knew Well, I think for so many years we knew that they said anger and so forth built up can cause, what was it, ulcers, and
Yes, it
ulcers can escalate to something more.
Right.
And so many times, and like you said, we have some workaholics or people who keep their minds so busy all the time, they never know how to take a break. I know a few of them, I'm not going to call any names, I know a few of them that don't know how to stop and take a break and say, hey. I tell my wife a lot of times, I say, you know something, we're older and we're retired, twice myself, and I say, you know something, yes, things may like it's falling in sometime, but there's time I sit there and I'm not doing absolutely nothing. Because a lot of times we put these things ahead of our health. We
Gotta
feel
get
like
this done.
we
Gotta
got
get
to
that
do
done.
this and got to do that. And I'm glad you said it, because a lot of times people feel a lot of different things that cause it, but sometimes our own activities, the way we look at things, how we stress ourselves, our anxieties also contribute to our health.
Yeah, I've done it so long. I raised 3 children, and you're constantly on the go. I was playing for churches, then working a 9-to-5 job, commuting to another city to play for a church. So it was a lot. It was a go, 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 go. And in the midst of all of this, I took care of my mother. I took care of my father. And then I ended up, after all of that, I was so stressed out. I just left the job. I just said, I was trying to hang in and to do one more year in Sandusky as a public housing manager, and I couldn't do it. It was just so stressful, and I said, I'm done. I can't do anything else. And then ending up with the transition of all of that, and finally getting myself rested and being able to come back in. And then I guess the Lord was preparing me to deal with. Then my husband came to the job and said, I have cancer. And so here I go. I'm a caregiver again.
Yes.
So it's that stress is a lot to it. A lot to it.
Is that caregiving is stressful.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize, especially when it's a family member.
Yes,
Someone
it
on the
is.
outside is a little different, that's a job to them. But there's a lot more emotions that are involved
Yeah.
when it's a family member. And I didn't know, Diane thought she was going to be quiet, but we got to hear from Diane
Yeah.
too.
That's right.
All right, Diane, you're on.
She's a 2-time survivor.
Yes, I am a 2-time survivor, and in the midst of all of my cancer, I was the caregiver for my husband, and I just had to quit work.
Yes.
I just
That's
had
what
to
I
give it
did.
up. I couldn't take care of him. I could not take care of me, so I just gave it up and was home because he needed full-time care.
Yes.
And but what I would advise men and women, we're always taught how to check our breast, how to check our bodies for any nodules, lumps, bumps, or whatever. Men should do that also. Everybody takes a shower every day. When you go over your body, check your body for what's going on with it. If you notice, and I don't care, my nodules was little itty bitty bitty, but I still went on and had the treatment for them. And it appeared that my husband had dementia, but it seemed like when I did that, he got just a little bit better and was able to be a caregiver to me.
Okay.
Because, and we, sometimes we have to ask.
Yes.
And I think in the Bible it states that black women, we have not because we ask not. And we have to ask our spouses,
Yes.
our brothers, our sisters, and our children.
Yes.
They're good. We raised them, and if you give them what they need, they'll give us a little bit back.
Yes.
And I have found that going through the cancer and then eventually going through, the breast cancer and then eventually going through the uterine cancer, it's a lot and it takes a lot. And I did not have groups I did not start going to cancer support group just a few years ago. So I did the radiation and everything, and it was just me, Jesus, and he didn't just let me go through. He drugged me through it all, you know, with his grace and mercy, he just drugged me through. But now I'm able to give. And at my age and with everything I've done, with everything I've been through, I can serve.
Yes.
And that's what I do, almost on a daily basis, because I don't know how to say no. I don't know how not to answer my phone. But I think that's what we are supposed to do. If the Lord gave us a healing, then we could serve other people
Yes.
through our healing and with our healing.
You know, I think a lot of times when you speak, even as a minister, I think a lot of people today, well, I know, during counseling, I've had some of the younger people say, well, can you leave that one thing out in your marriage vow? We're going to start our own vows. And you know what that thing is?
Obey.
Obey.
Unto death do we part.
Oh, I don't mind
In
that.
sickness,
Oh,
and
sickness
and in
and
health. That sickness and health is something that
Yes.
it's easy to say, but the commitment today,
Yes, that's true.
the
It's a
commitment to
do
that,
Right.
sickness and health. And I said on one of my other shows, I told the young lady, no, I can't leave that out, because that's something we should be committed in if we really love a person and want to be with that person. That's important. That was importantly put there from the beginning, that we should be dedicated. But I was also thinking, you know, we get so busy that we don't even eat right. Something else that contributes. And even though we know it, and I know the fast food business don't like to hear it, but we grab something quick, fast, and also that contributes to ill health, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
So these are some of these other thieves that sneak in on us.
That's right. That's
Prior
right.
to my diagnosis, I have to admit, I lived in California at the time, and I consumed a package of French fries almost every day. All of that grease. Anyway, French fries are now on the back burner. I had to learn the hard way, but And then plus I was told by a doctor that potatoes are a contributing factor to weight gain.
Okay.
So that's another reason I had to back away from French fries and potatoes. But, I have changed my diet considerably. I no longer eat pork. I'm pulling back from meats. And if I do eat meat, it's primarily chicken, fish, or lamb. But I do not eat pork. Pigs are filthy. Why would you want that in your body? Pigs live in mud. I could go on, but I won't. But I had to let go of pork. And I eat a lot of salads these days. I eat a lot of fruit these days. And I invested in a Kangen water machine as well. Because with the Kangen water machine, they say it is difficult for cancer cells to grow if you drink the water consistently.
Yes.
I do not want to go through this again in life, so I'm taking care of my health.
Yes. And you know, a lot of things, I think one of our biggest problems also is moderation. A lot of times,
Yes.
I remember when we were young growing up, they asked you to eat from the 3 or 4 basic food groups. But I think a smorgasbord really destroyed a lot of people. If they had ribs on, everybody got a plate of ribs. Whatever the meat thing is, they had a whole plate, no veggies, no balance in the diet.
That's right.
And like the doctor told my wife that there was a diabetic into diabetes, she was saying that a lot of people think you have to cut out everything, but the biggest key is moderation. Being able to eat a balanced diet and not rush in and just eat up what we like. Yes, what's good to you is not always good for you.
That's true. That is so true.
And most times, the convenience of what's good to us usually overrides what we consider our health. And that goes across the table. There's a whole lot of things in life that we choose that feel good, look good, taste good,
That's
for
true.
you.
but it's good to you, but not good for you. And so, like even corn. I mean, I don't want to make anyone sick.
No,
But-
that's not good for you.
No, it isn't.
No, it's
Right.
not.
But it's popular on the media.
And it's good. I like corn on the cob. I
Yeah.
like corn pudding. I like fried corn. Any way you can prepare corn. But I cannot eat it
Yes.
anymore. I mean, because of things that's going on in my body. I've had to cut out corn, broccoli, and I love broccoli.
Broccoli's
And I
supposed to
don't-
be good for cancer people.
But you have other illnesses. You have irritable bowel. You can't put even a lot of fruits you cannot eat. You have
that's
to
true.
be aware of what's going on in your body.
Yes.
And a lot of things that are good for you, you just can't do it anymore. Raw vegetables, and I could sit in front of the TV with some ranch dressing and just cauliflower and broccoli and even green beans. You know, I could eat it all raw,
Yes.
but I cannot eat it raw now.
Okay.
And I think as a group, we have to pay attention
Yes.
to what's going. And when the doctor says don't eat it, or the book, Google,
Yeah.
whatever, if they say no, then no.
Yes.
Yes.
And I don't know much. Maybe you ladies probably know a little bit more than I do about. They said something about eating your blood type. Certain things with certain type of blood, some can eat more of this than someone else cannot, based on your blood type, whether AB or O positive.
I've never heard
That must be
Yes.
something new they've started.
It's been
Maybe
for
I don't know. I've never heard of that. I'm with you. I've never heard of that, but I know everybody. You're stating that even if you had cancer, that there are certain things that you still can't do because you can't eat because of the other illnesses
Yes.
that you have going. So everybody has to know their body and know what's going on with them to be able to make the right decisions for their diet. I've tried, you do several different diets, and you have to just see what works best for you.
Yes.
And the best thing for me, on the back of the package where it says the serving size,
Yes.
I started there. I started, and I got to go back to that because I got off track. But just going to the serving size, looking on whatever you're eating, and say it says a half a cup. Well, that's what goes on the plate, a half a
Yes.
cup, and then you have to have a balanced plate.
Yes.
You have your protein and your vegetables and your fruit, and the bread is the other thing that gets me. Bread and potatoes.
Potatoes.
I have a difficult time with, but it's things that you have to work on.
Yes.
But those are things that we need to understand how our body
Yes.
works, because something that works for one person may not work for me, and then if it works for me, it may not work for them. It just depends on their body.
It's important.
I'm so glad that Diane brought that up.
Yeah.
Because with her having more than just the cancer diagnosis, now I understand why she can't eat broccoli. Whereas for me, I don't have that other challenge. And I learned in a group when I lived in California, eating green leafy vegetables was very important for our recovery. But that works for me
Yes.
because I have just the isolated cancer. No, in remission. Let
Yeah.
me clarify that. In remission.
Not calling it up.
Oh, right, remission. That's why I eat so much
That's
raw
true.
broccoli.
Yes.
Let me clarify that. Yeah.
And then we have to remember there's good carbs and there's bad carbs.
Yes.
Yes.
Sweet potatoes is a good carb. You can have
I'm gonna have to
bake
go
you a
to the
sweet
sweet
potato.
potatoes.
But
girl.
unless you're diabetic, then that's another thing.
No.
I'm
Bake
not a
it.
diabetic.
Don't put that brown sugar and cinnamon.
And the marshmallows.
And-
you know,
yeah.
mix with
See,
the
that's
butter.
what makes it
But see,
good.
but you can have just a baked potato. That is a good carb. And I think that's what we have to learn is our good stuff and our bad stuff.
Yes. And I was thinking I don't want to destroy anybody because I know we love this one food. Everybody seems to like it. But you were talking about the pig, but you talk to any farmer that really had a lot of farm animals. The most popular meat on the market.
Chicken.
Chicken.
It's
Nasty.
very a nasty creature. Oh, you know about that? I didn't want to say it.
Don't
but
mess with my chicken.
it tastes
Chicken is
good,
the
though.
holy bird.
I know. I'm just.
How it's raised too. Because
Yes.
some of the farmers have the chickens so cooped up, there's no breathing space.
Yes.
Whereas other farmers may allow adequate space for chickens to walk around and so forth and so on. It depends too on how they're raised. And then we can't leave out the food organic. There's a lot more discussion on how we should eat organically, and that's easier said than done for some people. But I am paying attention.
You remember, as a child, I remember I was looking at what my parents did, and we always had a garden. Had a garden, so the vegetables that I ate came from the garden.
Yes.
The meat was, they would make a trip once a year going down south, and they would slaughter a pig or and freeze it,
Yes.
bring it back with them.
Yes.
And the food tastes much different than it is now.
Yes.
Even with chickens.
Yes.
So the things that they shoot the animals up with,
Right.
trying to make them bigger, and
Yes.
that all goes into our bodies when we're eating it.
Yes.
So then again, you said moderation is being in moderation in what we do, but previously, I guess that would be called organic, that they did back in the day. That it wasn't a whole bunch of fertilized and shot up chemicals,
yeah.
into the food.
Yes.
And it was a while. I think that it took from. It was a while before I knew my parents were going to the grocery store just to get meat, because we had the
Right.
the greens and the corn and the peas and everything was coming out of the garden.
Plus, they canned stuff.
They canned, yes,
So they just
did.
went to the closet and pulled it out.
Pull it out.
Or when it got more popular, they froze it. And they didn't put all the preservatives
There you
in
go.
that
Right.
you get in your
That's
canned
right.
goods.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
They canned it, but it was a natural canning.
It was a
canning.
natural.
Maybe a vinegar or something of that nature, or sugar. But the chemicals that they put in there to retain the color, to retain the freshness, all those chemicals is added to it. And
Right.
I remember coming up, almost everybody in the neighborhood had a fruit tree.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, they wouldn't have watched us plump one like you get in the store. Sometimes the pears were a little bit more seedier, grainier, but it was all natural, grown in our yards. I still try to have a garden. I have a problem with bugs now, but I still try to have a garden. But even I'm told you have to look out for, even now, it may say organic, but now
You're not even sure
the
if
labeling
it's
may not
organic.
be what it moved to certified. It got to be certified organic now. It costs a little bit more, but the time that we're living in, that's why we got back to moderation. And not only moderation, we need to have a lot of prayer
Yes.
and leading, because understand the mislabeling. A lot of times you have, I understand that so many fillers are added to the food.
Right.
So the food is not 100% natural what we were thinking we was getting. So that's why I'm saying a whole lot of prayer come in.
A lot of
That's
prayer.
right.
Pray over that food.
Yes.
Right.
Sanctify it before it goes in your body.
There's so many thieves that are out there that
right.
rob us of our health. And we call it progress, and they said because of population we have to add a little bit of this and add a little bit to that. When I was an engineer, I remember was doing a particular job. This guy had a cow farm, a milk farm, dairy farm. And sometimes, since I was out of town and I didn't want to go back to the hotel, we just sit out there and talk. And I used to ask,
now?
shy me.
I couldn't resist.
But and I had brought up to myself, when I was younger, we would have milk and that you drink it and leave a film in the glass. And I said, now that milk, you hardly know what was in the glass
Right.
after it was drank. And he tried to explain to me, he said, well, actually, he said, I have to feed something in my cow's feed to make them produce more milk. Then he went on to say that one of the local farmers got caught with a 3-inch water hose adding to his before they got there. And we don't know what in the factory do to stretch or chemically preserve it. So this is a Christian show, here we are, back to the top of prayer, even trying to eat all the right things. And in moderation and with prayer. Even the environment that raised it. There's so many chemicals are in the air.
Exactly.
Every time an airplane take off, I just look up there and I said, tons of burnt fuel and coming down. I shouldn't say that, I'm getting trouble near the airport. But just looking at some of the things that we
Right.
are faced with. And I guess that's the best thing, ounce of prevention. We may not be able to do everything, but hopefully we get enough in there. And as you said, the alkaline water purifies. And if our body, and I understand, I'm learning a lot myself, and so I'm going to learn a lot from you guys. I try to keep my ears open to hear and learn. That's the only way, because a lot of times it's not going to be out there in the market because it's not financially. It's stuff that money is more important than health.
Got to make the money.
And I learned things like that a baby when it's born is something like 7.5 or above alkalinity. And a great grandbaby was born last year and I had to be in the room. The baby had a bowel movement. I smell absolutely nothing.
Right.
But if you go into a nursing home, what do you smell?
It's foul.
The high amount of acid, acidic.
Acid.
The acid in our bodies, and I learned that also, that stress causes the body to throw off a bit of acid. We gotta have acid in our body. Most of our body is 5% the skin, and so forth. And the stomach digestion is acidic, hydrochloric. But that's come back to moderation. You can get too much
Yes.
of anything. We get too much acid. We get too much sugar.
Yeah.
You get too much of these things, which cause our body to be at an imbalance. Now,
Balance.
if I weigh 250 pounds and my head was 200 of the pound,
He did not say
I'm not
that.
saying nothing.
He did not say that.
Oh, here we go.
that's a physical imbalance that we can look at, right? But in other words, if we're doing too much of one thing and not enough of another and getting
Right.
that balance,
It has to be balanced.
there has to be a balance in our life, in our body. Even though it feels good. Huh?
Well, all things in moderation, as you said.
Yes. And then being able, I guess you might say self-control. That discipline we all have a problem with.
Right.
I mean, if you love apple pie,
Heat it up and put some ice
Frappuccinos.
cream
Ice
on
cream
it.
on it with some caramel.
Oh,
Hey.
here we go. Man,
Don't forget a few
Thanksgiving's
sprinkles
right
of nut.
around the
Thanksgiving
corner.
is coming.
But we
Gonna
can
be
have
good.
it.
Yes,
But just have
there it
a
is.
small amount.
Moderation.
Yes.
You know,
Moderation.
we can have anything we want.
yes,
Just a little bit of it.
yes.
If you're a diabetic, you cannot have a slab, but you can have a sliver.
Yes.
You can have a sliver.
And with diabetics, you can eat it along with your meal. Because I learned that my husband is a diabetic. So if you have everything there with your meal and you have your piece of cake or pie, whatever, and it goes all together and that's it, you're fine. The
Yes.
part is where we get the extra and we go back.
Yes.
Right.
And we're eating it alone
Yes.
by itself. And then it causes a problem. Or we call ourselves denying ourselves. We said, I got a taste for this cheesecake, but I can't eat it. And I can't do it. And then when you finally, you're like, I'm going to get this cheesecake. And I'm gonna eat this bad boy, and I mean the whole thing, not the little sliver that I could have just had, but I want the whole thing.
Yes.
So if you have a taste for something, go ahead, get your little piece of it,
Yeah.
satisfy the urge, and go on.
And there's some things in those things your body needs, the craving,
Yeah.
certain things your body needs. And you just not cut out everything.
Right.
And I think that's a big thing too. I know my wife was, and this one diabetic doctor she talked to, she told us, I'm going to retrain you. Forget about all those other things that tell you stop all that. Eat it in moderation. Don't eat too much of it, because it's something in each one of those things your body craves. Like your body is beautifully made.
Yes,
There's
it
certain
is.
things it desired, and you think I can't have, I don't need that. But like you said, a little bit of it might be what all the body needs. You know, to get along, to help us. And we're talking about today surviving. And we're talking to 3 survivors. And those at home today can also be survivors if we can take heed. I said we have to learn from the experience someone else may have had. One of my favorite things in business, I would tell a young man, if your dad started a business and he was in the 50th year and he said, son, this is a mistake, that's a mistake, go around that. And not a young kid said, let me make my own mistakes. 50 years later, he realized everything Dad said was true. You're 100 years in arrears.
Right.
So it's some things to be learned and some things to be taught. And we have the discipline to take hold of that and say, hey, I hear what you're saying. They've been there. They've gone there. They're survivors. They've learned. If you say you walked out in front of a truck and it hit you and it hurt, I believe you.
Right. That's true. That's
I
true.
don't need to experience that. But some of those others now that may be facing it, I know you guys said there are different signs that one have, and you said checking yourselves and the different things of that nature. What else you have said? Someone may be looking in today, listening. You hear all the hard punching, everybody say, don't do this, don't do that. But I see because you have experienced that, you realize it's not a sledgehammer type of approach to the situation that people may be faced with. Because we all in these passionate bodies, we are likewise having the same feelings like others, maybe from different areas. How can we better approach the situation? I know coming to your group is a great thing for them to learn. They've already learned that they have been diagnosed with something. But those that have maybe never been diagnosed with anything, what would you say to them?
For number one, I feel it's very important, as Gloria was saying earlier, to be tested, as well as what Diane said. We need to check ourselves daily after we bathe. A mammogram is vital, and that should be done annually, a minimum annually each year, because it may be something we're totally unaware of. There's more discussion these days about skin cancer due to the fact that some people like being outside, such as myself in the summertime, but we have to take a proactive approach, bottom line. In addition to that, I wanted to make note of this picture.
Yes.
You notice that this is done by one of my sorority sisters, Paula Scott. She is very happy in that she's retiring officially tomorrow, but she's turning over a new leaf and she's turning a hobby into finances.
Okay.
She has formerly been a board member, and she has said that she would be happy to be on our advisory board because we got to speak on that briefly prior to meeting today. We need to establish an advisory board. Gloria already brought up that they do have a board with the Parenthood Ministries. However, we want an advisory board with our cancer support, specifically Survivors and Caregivers United. So that's another thing that will be forthcoming in 2020. And I can't leave out our fashion show. That's upcoming. It will be October 26th. This year, as I said, we are embracing all types of cancers, meaning men and women. We're going to have quite a show.
Yes.
We hope you will come out. Our fashion show will be at 2000 Catalpa Drive at the New Hope Lutheran Church, where Pastor Robert Jones is the interim minister. And it will start at 2 o'clock. Admission is $10 per person. That will consist of seeing the latest fashions, eating a nice healthy meal, live music,
Cappuccino?
fellowship. If you want to dance a little, following, we'll have a social hour. So come out, learn something, have good fellowship with us, because we are survivors and God has us here on this earth for a reason.
And that also is not just now, it's an annual event. Is this
Yes, sir.
something you do annually?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then again, what number can they reach you for more information?
You can call me or Gloria.
Okay.
My number is area code 937-580-0044, or Miss Gloria, call her as well at
937-474-2700.
And again?
937-474-2700.
All right.
I had to think real quick.
It's always good to repeat. You know, we at home repeat by the time you get it. Yeah, but it's so important. And a lot of times when we go away, we forget if we don't write it down and jot it down.
Right.
You know, it just go put it on a back burner. But we don't want anyone to listen and hear now and all of a sudden say, I remember I heard something. But we want them to sort of follow up. And it's no thing, it's such a rampant, it's gone viral almost. Cancer and the disease that we're talking about on a regular basis, that is nothing to just keep in a closet. Get out there and get help.
Right.
Get out there and talk to somebody that has already experienced or has done some of these things. You can't keep it to yourself. You know, sometimes we get very private on certain things, or we call it private.
Right.
And we are really hurting ourselves.
Yes.
That is so true.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
I think we are getting more groups now as a black people. And we not only do men need to come, but we need to bring sometime our children.
Okay.
They need to know, because if I had breast cancer, my daughter is likely to have it also. And she has children. And we need to share nieces, nephews, and it's okay to tell somebody I don't feel good,
Yes.
because it may be nothing, or you could be in the midst of a heart attack and not even know.
Yes.
You know, not even know, because you don't want to say, I just don't feel good.
Yes.
So, you know, and even if sometime being a diabetic, I tell people, other diabetics, you know, do you have a foot doctor? Oh, there's nothing wrong with my feet. Diabetics do not need to cut our toenails. We need to have a foot doctor.
Yes.
We need to have special shoes.
Yes.
They don't cost that much, because you'll go out and eat a good meal for what you can buy you a nice pair of shoes. Your insurance will cover part of it. Have the doctor write a prescription. They'll write a prescription. If they could write it for dope, they can write it for your feet. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
And we need, when we go to the doctor, quit saying I'm okay and I don't, you know, I feel okay. I don't care if it's a twinge. Tell it. You know, tell your doctor what's wrong, because they cannot help you.
Right.
It could be something very small, or it could be something very big. But if they don't know, they can do nothing for us.
It all goes back to self-care.
That's
and
right.
taking a proactive approach on our personal health.
Right, right. And if we're prescribed medication, before we stop taking our medication, get checked to make sure you're okay to quit. Now, me, I can't not take, if whatever I'm prescribed, I got to take it till death do me part. Because if I think about quitting, my diabetes will go out the pocket, my blood pressure go out the pocket, my cholesterol will go out the pocket. I have to take my medication, regardless of whether I feel like it or don't want to.
Yes, yes.
You know, and if you're one of the fortunate ones that can quit taking whatever medication,
Yes.
but have the doctor check you before you quit. And if you quit, go back and have them check you to make sure you don't need to go back on.
Yes. And I had a friend there, he was a diabetic for 17 years. You probably met him at the meeting. And what happened, he started drinking the water and following direction. He started drinking the water, and he said his sugar would start coming low. He went back to his doctor and said, "Doctor, what can I do? My reading's coming up low." And the doctor said, "Well, if they're coming up low, you can stop taking it, you know." And so it's all those type of things, like you said, that
Right.
if you're doing it and it stop, and the doctors say, "Hey, yes, you're improving," then you can, but on your own, just because you change your mind about it,
Right.
or you get tired, yes.
I'd like to say something here. As some of you know, when we had that tornado, I had an altercation with my ankle. And when I did go to the doctor, I found out my blood pressure was low. And I attribute that greatly to our Kangen water.
Okay.
I'd also like to say massages are very important. I didn't learn about massages until after my cancer diagnosis, but I was told it's important to obtain massages so the cancer does not lodge in our system and grow. And I would like to give a shout out to Kettering Health Network, because at the African Cultural Festival
Yes.
this past weekend, Kettering Health Network was providing free
massages.
chair massages.
And I missed that. I was out there and I missed that. I seen them giving those massages. You had mentioned it to me.
Yeah, I just didn't have enough time. I was going to tip over there and get mine, but I was busy.
Right.
Yes. Oh, another thing I'd like to say. The Kettering Health Network also shared with us at our group. If you are diagnosed with cancer and you're participating and have it documented that you're a cancer survivor, you can utilize their Renew Boutique and receive massages at half price.
Okay.
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 Oh, another thing. I keep thinking of things, forgive
When you
me.
go home, you're going to forget.
Another thing, like me, for instance, Diane mentioned it's important to take a proactive approach with your doctor. But if you receive a written prescription from your doctor, that enables you to receive prosthetic brasiers free via your medical insurance every 3 months.
Okay. And I know we're talking about a lot of health and physical thing, but something I think we as a people probably don't address a whole lot is skin. The cancer, so I think one of you mentioned something about that. And some say, "Oh no, I can't get that because, you know, my dark complexion." Is that true, or is it
No,
false?
we still can get skin cancer.
Yeah.
We still need to pay attention to the SPF numbers. On we need you're out there in that sun. You need a sunscreen on, and it's not just because we're dark complected and we can handle the sun. That's not it. We still need that too because it can affect our skin. And so those are some things that we need to check into. We need to talk about. If you're out there, get a hat, cover up. You know, if you just got to be out in the sun or you're, you know, enjoying a nice recreational time out.
Yes.
But be aware of what you need. And we need the SPF, we need that sunscreen. We do.
We do.
Okay.
We really do.
And there's some ways you guys already know about using I know some people use shea butter, and that's a big thing. But you know, knowledge is power, isn't
That's
it?
right.
Right.
And we tried different things, and what got me, you know, growing up, we got rid of a lot of what they call home remedies. We frown on it. But those mothers and fathers of the past,
No.
they could go out in the woods and get
things,
something and right
yeah.
quick take care of the problem. We don't have access to that anymore. The rainforest and all the things that we had, the woods have been destroyed. So we depend heavily on some medication, and there are some natural remedies, wouldn't you say?
It's for us to do our research. Again,
Right. Because you have to be real careful of your natural healing methods that our parents used. They could go out and pick dandelions or and have dandelion greens. You better not. You don't know what they sprayed
That's
on
right,
those
exactly.
dandelions.
That's
you
right.
know, or they could go and get berries and stuff.
Yes.
But everything is being sprayed with so
Yes.
much poison
Yes,
now
yes,
that
yes.
we just can't.
Yes.
so you have to see what's good for you. You
Right.
know?
Exactly.
If you can get shea butter and work on your skin and, and take all the natural effects of that in, that's fine. Some people can handle shea butter. Some people can handle black soap. Others couldn't.
Yes.
Along with Parenthood Ministries, we have an Afritique shop, and we were out at the VA. I didn't do it this year, kind of cut off and changed some direction, but I sell shea butter and I have black soap. And there was a young lady came and she bought something from me and she said, I cannot use the black soap. And we were discussing it, and she said because it was too harsh on her skin, but she could use the shea butter soap that I had. And she said, oh, I just love this. But you have to know what works for your skin. Even with if you're getting natural supplements and adding them, you have to see if the supplement is going to coincide and clash with your blood pressure medicine and anything else that's going on. When my husband had he had a blood clot, and at one point there was a certain medication he had to take for a certain period of time, but we couldn't eat sweet potatoes. He couldn't eat collard greens. It was the vitamin K. And we did that for maybe a year or 2 years. And then after you get through that whole thing, you go to a service or something after Thursday, well, they're going to load up collard green up. Oh, no, yes, I think we can have that right now. So you have to find out what works along with at the time that you're dealing with any situation that you have that's going on. If you need to take turmeric, check with your doctor, because I did that. I went to my doctor and I said, I started taking this turmeric. People are telling me about this, so I started taking. I said, can this go with my blood pressure medicine? He said, oh, you're fine. You're fine. Keep taking it.
Yes.
So,
but I was thinking when you're talking about it, it comes to my mind. We have to get away from that, what I term social adolescence. When your child come home and say, well, everybody got Nikes, why can't I?
Right.
Well, everybody else is eating chicken, or everybody else is.
Right.
So we have to get away from that and find out those things that are best for us as individuals. And even we can't just go because someone else taking someone else's medicine because they had the same symptoms. So it's a beautiful thing, and thank God for you survivors. But let me tell you something. You were at the end of our production. Did it go quickly?
It went quickly.
So, if you have anything you want to summarize in a minute, maybe, and then give your information again, you may do that and look right at the camera and tell them what.
Okay, my name is Diane Costner, and I am a cancer survivor. And what I advise everyone to do, make your doctor your best friend. If something comes up, call, make an appointment, and go see your primary care. If your primary care can talk to, or you can talk to your primary care about anything and everything, do that, because they need to know what's going on with you.
Praise God. Dr. Cox.
It's my turn. My name is Reverend Gloria Wright Cox. I'm the executive pastor of the Parenthood Ministries, and we serve people. We're changing lives. We're empowering women and uplifting families. And so this is part of our outreach to the community. We are a faith-based organization, and we just ask that you continue to pray for us, and you can give me a call at 937-474-2700. And if you are on Facebook, you can contact me through Parenthood Ministries on Facebook.
Okay. Praise God.
And I would like to say thank you again, Bishop Norton, for inviting us back for the second year. This is exciting. And in closing, I would like to talk about the semi-precious stone of hematite.
Yeah.
Diane has some on in her earrings. I have some on in my bracelet. The shiny gray is known as hematite. It comes from volcanic ash. However, hematite can help with pains from arthritis, headaches, migraines, blood sugar, swelling, numbness, sinus, allergies, carpal tunnel syndrome, knee replacement surgery, pinched nerves, and stress. In addition to that, it decreases or eliminates the dependency on pain medication specifically for cancer people who are healing. So hematite is my signature stone. I put this in almost every design I make. And when you are ready for your personal design, be it a necklace, bracelet, or earrings, reach out. Call me. You can reach me at 937-580-0044. And I'm at Revelations Boutique, LLC. Thank you.
Dr. Marcus, and we thank God for you.
Here you go.
Just made it.
We have a blessing.
We just made it.
We have a blessing that each one of my guests come on today, and the love that you have in your heart to share with others. Sometimes people keep things to themselves. They went through it, they learned the hard way. But I thank you and I thank God for touching your heart to come on our production, keeping it simple, and share with others that they may have a chance. You've done your part. Now the ball is in your part. You have information. You got follow-up information. May God bless you. May heaven smile on you is our prayer.